60,000 years ago, a species without books, without writing, without a single stored file anywhere on Earth was already running the most dangerous experiment in human history. Every night, around a fire, someone spoke, and everyone else had to remember.
Don't drink from the river when the water turns green. The berries with the white spots will kill you. Follow the stars north.
There was no second copy, no backup. If the person speaking forgot a single detail, or the people listening forgot it by morning, someone in that tribe was going to die finding out the hard way. Before fire, before tools, before language even finished forming, memory was already the technology keeping our species alive. Now imagine two people from that same tribe. One forgets exactly where the sweetest berries grow. Inconvenient, mildly annoying, life goes on. The other forgets where the predator sleeps. Only one of those mistakes gets the chance to happen twice, which means over tens of thousands of years, the brains that survived, the ones that got passed down to you, were the ones that clung harder to fear, to danger, to threat, than to anything pleasant or safe. Your brain was never built to remember accurately. It was built to remember what almost killed you. Eventually, someone got tired of trusting their own head. That's the part most people miss about cave paintings. We call them art. They probably weren't trying to make art. They were trying to make a backup. A drawing on a wall doesn't forget. It doesn't get selective. It doesn't quietly rewrite itself while you sleep. For the first time in human history, a memory could survive longer than the person who made it. Writing, libraries, photographs, the internet. Every single one of those is the same idea, repeated for thousands of years. Human beings quietly admitting that their own memory cannot be trusted alone. The Greeks didn't have neuroscience, but somehow they still built an entire religion around this exact problem. They believed memory was a goddess, Mnemosyne, not a small one either, one of the original titans, older than Zeus himself. And they believed she gave birth to 9 daughters, the Muses, poetry, history, music, tragedy, comedy, astronomy, every field of knowledge the Greeks could name. They believed it was, literally, a child of memory. Without her, none of it existed. Homer's poems, for example. Homer is the name given to the poet, or maybe several poets, credited with the Iliad and the Odyssey, epics that survived for generations as spoken memory long before anyone wrote them down. Professional poets carried the entire story in their heads and performed it from memory alone, night after night, city after city, for centuries, before a single word of it was ever written down. Here's the thing, not one of those poets was trying to deceive anyone. They weren't liars. They believed completely that they were passing the story down exactly as they received it. But you already know what memory does by now. Every single retelling was a chance for something small to shift, a detail, a name, a number, a cause, without anyone noticing it happen, because that's the part that makes this so unsettling. Memory doesn't fail loudly, it fails silently, and then hands you the result with total confidence. So somewhere between the first person who witnessed something and the version that reached us thousands of years later as legend, as scripture, as history, how much changed? Not from anyone lying, just from memory doing, quietly, exactly what it's always done. We'll probably never know how much. That's not an accusation. It's just the honest question sitting underneath every story we've ever inherited. Which brings us to the part your brain doesn't want you to notice. Most people think of memory like a camera. You experience something, it gets recorded, and later you just hit play. That feels true. It feels obvious, but it's completely wrong. Your brain doesn't record anything. It never did. Not around that fire 60,000 years ago, and not right now. Tonight, while you're watching this, it reconstructs. Every time you remember something, you're not replaying a tape. You're rebuilding the memory from fragments, filling in the gaps with assumption, emotion, and whatever information you've picked up since. Which means every memory you have has been touched, and possibly changed, by your own brain, without your permission. In 1974, psychologist Elizabeth Loftus showed people a film of a car crash. Afterward, she asked a simple question, but she changed one word each time. Some people were asked, how fast were the cars going when they hit each other? Others were asked the exact same question, but with one word swapped. How fast were the cars going when they smashed each other? That single word changed people's memory of the actual event. People in the smashed group estimated significantly higher speeds, roughly a 9-mile-per-hour jump, just from one word. Here's where it gets disturbing. A week later, Loftus asked everyone, "Did you see any broken glass?" There was no broken glass, none, not one shard in the entire film. But in the smashed group, about 32% said yes, they remembered it clearly. In the hit group, only 14% said yes. Same video, same event, different memory, caused by one word. So, Loftus asked a bigger question. If a word can bend a memory, can you build an entire memory from nothing? In 1995, her team told 24 participants a story about their own childhood, supposedly confirmed by a family member, describing a time they got lost in a shopping mall as a kid. There was one problem. It never happened. The researchers made it up. About 25% of participants didn't just accept the story, they remembered it. Some added details no one told them, a kind old man who helped them, what the mall smelled like, how scared they felt. Their brains didn't just accept a false idea, they built a false experience, complete with sensory detail, and filed it as real. And when researchers later told them one of their memories was fake and asked them to identify which one, a lot of them picked the wrong one. They defended a real memory as false and defended the fake one as true. Here's the actual truth, and it's kinder than it sounds. Your memory was never built to be a hard drive. It was built to keep you alive, not accurate. So every time you recall something, your brain quietly touches it up, a little, every single time. Which means your childhood, your first heartbreak, that one mistake you still replay at 2 a.m. The version in your head today probably isn't the original cut. It's the director's cut, remastered slightly every time you've told it. And look, you can spiral about that, or you can just accept it. You are not a camera. You never were. You're an editor, quietly working on the same film your whole life, doing your best with the footage you've got. So next time you're dead certain about something you remember, maybe hold that certainty a little more loose. Your brain's not lying to you on purpose. It's just a terrible archivist with great confidence.